Okay, on to video 4. We're going to talk about transformations, and in particular, we're going to talk about translations. So grab those vocab books. Okay, our first word is transformations. That's what the unit is all about, transformations. There's 4 different transformations. There's translations, reflections, rotations, and dilations. We're going to talk about each of those individually. First, let's just talk about the basics of transformations. Okay, they're operations that are performed on a figure. So you could translate this star right here, and that just means that you take the star and you slide it around. So I could take the star, move it to the right and then down, and I translated it. You could reflect it, which is like looking in a mirror. So I could take this star and reflect it across the y-axis if I wanted to. You could rotate it, which is where you turn it around. We'll get into that more in detail later. And dilation is where you make it bigger and smaller. Okay, but like I said, we'll talk about each of these separately. What we do need to know is that the figure that you start with is called the pre-image, and you will label points on your pre-image. Okay, your image is what you end up with after you perform the transformation. So notice that we have these little marks here next to the letters. We say that that is A prime and B prime. That's the terminology that we use. So point A will turn into A prime once it's been moved, or whatever happens to it, whatever transformation has occurred. Okay, next word, isometry. Just a reminder, make sure that you're pausing the video while you take time to write all this down. Don't try to write it as I'm talking. That's too much. Okay, definition. A transformation that does not change the size or shape of the figure. So look over here at this box. Notice that if this was the pre-image and this is the image, it didn't change at all. Okay? So it represents isometry, that it's an isometry. This one, it actually got bigger, so it is not an isometry. It's not isometric. So there are isometric transformations and non-isometric transformations. So translations, that slides the image or figure around. So if you slide something, it stays the same size and shape. If you reflect something, you look in the mirror, the size doesn't change, the shape doesn't change. So reflection is isometric. And a rotation, if you take something and twirl it around, turn it around, it doesn't change size or shape. So that's why you call these 3 transformations isometries. They're isometric. A dilation takes an object or figure and enlarges or reduces it. So it does change the shape, changes the size. So it's not isometric. It's not an isometry. So dilations are not isometries. Okay, so today we're going to be looking at 2 different transformations. We're going to focus on the translation and on the reflections. Okay, so we'll start with translation. Translation is an isometry. That means it's going to keep its size and shape that slides a figure around. So if you look at this triangle, this is our pre-image. Okay, and I know that because it doesn't have the little prime signs like this one does. Okay, so if you take this blue triangle and you slide it to the right and slide it down, it would become the red triangle. Okay, so that's a translation. It slides the figure around. Now there's different ways to write a translation. There's the descriptive way, which is where you just say move 5 units to the right and 3 units down. Move 5 units to the right and 3 units down. That's a pretty basic way. Okay, mapping is where you look at the actual points. So you take the points on your coordinate plane, like x, y, and you will add 5 to all the x's, and you'll subtract 3 from all the y's. Okay, so if you were to take this point right here and perform this translation, use this translation rule, you would get B to become B prime. We'll look more at that whenever we start doing examples. Another way is vector, looking at a vector. That's new to you, I'm sure. But you use a lowercase v with a little arrow above it. You use the less than and greater than symbols and what you want to happen. So if you want to move 5 units to the right, you would use a +5. If you want to move 3 units down, you would use -3. So the first number always represents your movement right and left, and the second number is always up or down. Same here. This will tell you to move 5 units to the right, and this tells you to move 3 units down. The other is just translation notation, which is where you use a capital T and then a little tiny coordinate down here, or ordered pair, 5, -3. So 5 units to the right, 3 units down. Okay, we'll practice those in a little while. All right, here's some more examples for you to check out. You don't need to write them down or draw them or anything like that. Just look at them. Notice that the images are just sliding around. Translations are slides. Okay, here's your title, Translations. You should be in the Notes section. We need to translate the triangle 8 units to the left and 4 units down. So in box 1, just draw a rough sketch of a coordinate plane. Doesn't have to be perfect. If you want to cut graph paper out and glue it on each problem, you can do that, but you don't have to. We are going to have graphs for each problem, so you don't need to go to box 4 or anything like that because we're going to have to use a bunch of graphs anyways. So just a rough sketch of it. Try to plot it where I have it. Okay, so what we need to do is move this triangle 8 units to the left and 4 units down. So we're going to take each point, so we'll start with point A, and move it over. So 8 units to the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So point A has moved here. So we call it A prime. Now let's move point B. So 8 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we call that B prime. And let's move point C. Same amount of spaces, 8 units to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is C prime. So let me go over that in a darker color. Here is our new triangle. Okay, so this is the pre-image, and this is our image. All right, problem 2. Translate this triangle using this rule. Well, you could do the way we did it the last problem, but I'm going to show you a different technique. Okay, so let's make a little chart here. And in the first column, we're going to put our pre-image coordinates. And in the second column, we're going to put our image, our new image coordinates. Okay, so let me go ahead and list my 3 coordinates. We have A, B, and C. And my new coordinates, I'll list them: A prime, B prime, C prime. Okay, so what we want to do is figure out what is point A. Looks like it's 0, 3. So 0, 3. Point B is the point -2, 0. C is 1, 0. Okay, so what we're going to do is take all the x's and add 5 to them. So all the x's, we add 5. all the y's, we subtract 3, and that'll give us our new coordinates. Okay, so let me get it all set up here. So we have 0 plus 5. So we would fill in our first x value is now going to be 0 plus 5, or 5. And then we move on to b. Negative 2 plus 5 is 3. And 1 plus 5 is 6. So we have our new x values. Now all the y's, we're going to subtract 3 from them. So all of these, we subtract 3. So first one is 3 minus 3, or 0. Then 0 minus 3 is negative 3. And 0 minus 3 is negative 3. Now we just go over and plot our new points, and we'll have our image. So the first point is 5, 0. That's A prime. B prime is 3, negative 3. It's down here. So that's B prime. And our final point is 6, negative 3. So that's C prime. Connect them, and we have our translation done. We translated this triangle to this one. So we moved to the right 5 and down 3 is basically what we did. All right, problem 3. Translate the triangle using this vector rule. So it's basically the same thing that we've been doing. This negative 1 just means you're going to move in the x direction negative 1 units. So basically it means move backwards 1 or left 1 unit. And then this is up or down. Because it's positive, you'd actually go up 5. Okay. So it's basically the same. If you wanted to rewrite it, it would look like this. If you wanted to write it the way you saw the last problem, it would look like this: x minus 1, y plus 5. Okay, so if you like that technique and you want to make the chart, you can do that. This problem, I'm going to go ahead and just count like I did on the first problem. So let's start with point A. I'm going to go to the left one and up 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is going to be my A prime. Okay, well, I did the first one like that. Let me go ahead and just look at what the triangle looks like and draw the rest of it by counting. So I know I can go down 1 over 3 this way, and I'll have point B. And the same way here, down 1 over 3. So I can go ahead and just draw the rest of it just by looking. I can tell where the rest of it's going to be, and I'm okay with you doing that. Okay. Maybe if you were taking a test, you might want to count it, but okay, let's get that one on there, and there. Okay, so basically that's how it was translated: back 1 and up 5. Okay, so use whatever method you like. Okay, well, I hope you took good notes. Don't forget to fill out your table of contents. We're going to be checking for that. And have an awesome day.